Rumors have the iPhone 6 phablet looking like the iPhone 5C, only with different focus. We get credible reports of what to expect for the dual cameras of the all-new HTC One, and a developer just made the Snapdragon 800 the dream processor for many. I'm Jaime Rivera, and probably one of my biggest wishes for this spring is to have permanent air conditioning everywhere. This is Pocketnow Daily. Let's start today off with some official news as AT&T has begun teasing the ASUS PadFone X on its network. And even though we don't get specifics as to when we should expect this tablet, phablet, phone, or whatever you might call this thing, it's really interesting as we've never really seen the PadFone being sold in the United States. This would pretty much be the first carrier to adopt it, and again, we can't wait to see that price tag, especially with that tablet accessory of the PadFone. So stay tuned, we're really looking forward to this. Now let's talk about the all-new HTC One, aka M8, as we get more leaks and reports of what to expect from those dual cameras. Apparently, HTC is planning to do selective focus in a very different way. Currently, OEMs take a lot of photos and have that Litro effect by just taking different selecting focus points from these photos, and the way HTC is going to do it is taking two photos and actually allowing you to be able to access your photographs in less time, adding more accuracy. Now, we still don't know exactly if that's going to be it, meaning we still don't know exactly the official news, so stay tuned as the HTC M8 should be available on the 25th of this month. Now let's talk about the Snapdragon 800 processor, but not necessarily about Qualcomm, as the company hasn't really figured out how to pull a Moto X with any of its processors, meaning you can't really talk to the phone and make it wake up. It's not always listening to you, but a developer just figured out how to do it, and even though there is a work in progress, this is really buggy at the moment. It's really interesting that a third party figures out how to do something so cool. Let's just see how it goes eventually. Hopefully Qualcomm can hire the guy. Now let's talk about the Apple versus Samsung patent dispute, as I know this soap opera is extremely boring, but even more interesting is the fact that there is new reports that Apple is actually asking $40 as a licensing fee for all of its patents for Samsung. And this is really interesting as analysts have now predicted that those $40 are exactly how much money Samsung is making in profits from any smartphone that's below $400, and we know that the Galaxy lineup actually sells more in the low-tier phones, meaning Apple is actually looking for a way to not make money out of Samsung. What they want is for the company to not make profits out of smartphones, which is actually even more interesting. So stay tuned as a judge could either rule in favor of that or against that. That's going to be interesting. And finally, for the hot news of the day, let's talk about Apple as we get two very interesting leaks. Number one, their talk of iOS 8 and iOS 9. Apparently, iOS 8 will be launched this year at WWDC, and even though we do expect it to look exactly like iOS 7, one of the things that apparently Apple will push is Maps, as they've hired 3 companies to make this better. And aside from that, another one of the reports is that we get details on what to expect from the iPhone 6, but the phablet variant. Apparently, this phone will look a lot like the iPhone 5C in design, even though this will be an aluminum chassis and not polycarbonate. But that leads me to the question of the day. Are you really interested in a phablet from Apple? Will that make you choose an Apple product as opposed to a Galaxy Note 3, for example? Because in my particular case, I'll be honest with you, I am an iPhone user, and therefore I am also a Galaxy Note 3 user. So for me, that would probably be the best of both worlds, but not necessarily. Leave us a comment down below. What do you think? And friends, you know the drill. If you want to get the news earlier before this video was filmed, make sure you follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you tomorrow.